You know what, Judge? Can you hold that for a second? Let's go on the ground outside the courthouse. We have something very special only the Law&Crime Network has. That's our own Anjanette Levy and Morries Hall, who was supposedly a witness in this case, but you saw him on the videotape. He was there the day George Floyd died. Anjanette.
Yes. Linda, good afternoon to you, or good evening on the East Coast. I'm here with Morries Hall. He was in the vehicle with George Floyd the night that this happened, during the incident inside Cup Foods. He and Shawanda Hill were there. Morries was supposed to testify, ended up not doing so. He invoked the Fifth. Morries, you came down here to the courthouse today. You could have watched this on television. Why did you come down here?
To promote positive, I want to make sure that if it was a guilty trial, that I want to promote positive protests and not burn the city down if we could. That was my main motion of really being out here today.
You were there when this happened that night. What was kind of going through your head when you were standing there with Shawanda Hill and Officer Chang, and this was all going on across the street?
Allegedly, I had no thoughts at the time. I was numb. I couldn't. I was being detained. That's like the world saw. I couldn't really have any emotions at that time.
I tried to ask you some questions when we were over by the car, and your people told you not to talk to me about those questions about being in the car. You invoked the Fifth so you wouldn't be testifying. You came down here, though. You could have watched this on television, as I mentioned. So what does this mean to you? There were 3 guilty verdicts. There could have just been 1. There could have been none. There could have been 2. But to have 3 guilty verdicts on 2nd degree, 3rd degree, and then the manslaughter charges, what are your feelings? What was it like when you heard that?
Prosecution done a great job, and it was the right thing to do. We all saw it. We all witnessed it.
Tell me about George Floyd. How long did you know him?
I've been knowing Floyd like 20, 21 years. Floyd was life, full of life. You know, you didn't have to have much to be in his presence and still have fun. You know, he's a sense of humor, great sense of humor guy. He's a giver. You know, most people adders, subtractors, and dividers. Floyd was an adder, definitely. He added to your life, whether it was physical presence and he can help, or just his security, or his words of encouragement, wisdom. You know, like the brother, just an all-around team player, athlete, and that's just what. You know, you didn't have to speak or say anything, and he can know when you're having a bad day. That day and other days prior to it, we were together, and we always have fun with no least money, you know. So it's not about what was in his system or anything. Floyd was a great guy. I'm a missing.
How did you guys meet?
Floyd and I met through music, the hip-hop world.
In Texas?
In Texas. He's a part of what they call the Screwed Up Clique, which is a legendary place down in Houston, and he always made underground mixtapes. So he was a part of the culture that I looked up to, and that's a real strong culture where I'm from, and him and I had a chance to experience that, and him being able to be a member was powerful. So once we united in Minneapolis, we never departed. You know, like everything I went through, Floyd knew about it. If I go visit home, he'll have my vehicle and keep watch of him. And if I had a bad time, I was on pillar, I had nowhere to be, I'd be with Floyd at his place. I go to work with him. You know, we just enjoyed each other's company.
You went to the club with him or to the truck driving? You said he drove a truck, too.
Yeah, he drove trucks. And what I did was we rented a hotel room so we can be closer to the company. But I definitely would go on the weekends to the clubs with him. It was a Latino club, so we didn't really music, but we enjoyed being able to relate with each other, you know.
So you were there at the club with him. Had you ever seen Derek Chauvin?
Minneapolis policemen. I never saw that guy personally, I don't think, but I mean, I've seen them up there. They're supposed to be up there for the crowd to kind of usher the crowd along and help get them out the streets.
Did you know, do you know if George Floyd, your friend, and Derek Chauvin knew one another from that work at the club?
I do not.
You don't know that? That's been a big question. There have been reports that they did. There have been reports that they didn't because Chauvin worked outside and George worked inside. So, so is there anything else you'd like to share with us about your feelings on this verdict? Obviously, you were part of this trial in a way. You were brought in.
I'm going to be a part of it for life. I'm going to just take the experience and use it for a positive. Turn such a negative into positive in my life and be a law-abiding citizen today.
I think it's interesting that you came down here to encourage peaceful protest if the verdict didn't go the way the people here in the crowd wanted it to. Why was that important to you?
Well, I feel and making the city look ugly for nothing. They didn't kill Floyd, and it wouldn't certainly bring him back. So I just felt like something God put it on my heart to try to, encourage them not to do so if I could. George had an influence, but he didn't personally. Plus, I knew George wouldn't approve of it. That's the main thing. I know George wouldn't want that.
What are your plans now?
To always now to just carry the story as much as I can positively and, go around telling our story, book writing, whatever else comes along in the future, but definitely represent him and myself in a positive way for the rest.
And you don't want to, you said there were things you can't talk about. I know your representative over here and both your lawyer got a little upset when I tried to ask you some certain questions. But you're just going to move forward and take care of your own things that you've got going on.
Correct. And be a law-abiding citizen mainly and change my past life and make it into a positive, use it as a support with all the things that's going to come positive off of George losing his life like that. Big Floyd didn't deserve that, so I can just make it something positive.
What about the upcoming trials, the trial of the 3 other officers that will be in late August?
This is a good sign for this one. It's definitely a good sign, so be there.
You're going to be at the trials?
Maybe.
You don't know? Okay. Oh, okay. We'll talk to Ms. Cousins then, I guess. Okay. So you may be getting some immunity for the other trial? Is that what I'm to be led to believe?
We don't know. Who knows?
Can't talk about that. We like breaking news here at Law&Crime, so if your lawyer will let you know, if you want to share anything with us, now's the time.
Long live Big Floyd.
Okay. Well, I did my best. Morries Hall, thanks so much. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good to meet you. Thank you. Thank you. Right. So that was Morries Hall commenting on what we might receive immunity in the trial coming up in August. I think that would be really interesting since they referred me to his attorney who has so far commented. If he received immunity, that would certainly make the next trial very interesting.
And Jeanette, that was just a fabulous interview with Morries Hall, who took the fifth, and no one has heard from him. But you got the interview for the Law&Crime Network. But let me ask you, you were in the middle out there. What is the atmosphere like since Mr. Morries Hall said he's there to promote positive protest, PPP?
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool that he did that. What happened last year, nobody wants to see that type of damage to a city. Nobody wants to see what happened with George Floyd. Nobody wants that to happen. There was a lot of anger last year. I think there's still a lot of anger. Being here, it was a little tense in the beginning when I came over. There's a lot of anticipation. The crowd was hopeful for guilty verdicts on all 3 counts, but I did hear people kind of saying in the crowd, not guilty verdict, going to be incredibly upset, and they were very angry. And, I'm getting kind of pushed out of the way for something. I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like there's going to be a press conference going on here in just a minute.
No, Angela,
what's
thank
that?
you. Thank you so very much. Next time we talk, I'm going to get your
Let me get over to this press conference, okay?
Yeah, next time we talk, I'm going to give you a reaction for the verdict. Okay. And George Floyd, you are giving your life for maybe something bigger.